Hello and welcome to the You're Playing It Wrong series here on Gamer Reality. This is a series in which I tell you, in the least judgmental way possible, the biggest features in popular games you're either missing or playing completely wrong. In this video, I'm going to be tackling a newly popular game called Population 1. A game that lets you climb anything and shoot anyone, all with the power of VR. I'm going to start off by telling you everything you need to know from going to a useless player to a useful player that is loved by your teammates in 30 seconds. Okay, maybe not that good, but 30 seconds starting now. Tap the B button on the right hand to ping, hold it down for more icons and your sprays. There are two ways to drop weapons. The first and fastest way is to hover over the item in the radial menu and hold the grip button. The second way is to click on the backpack in your radial menu and click the item you want to drop. When getting shot at, the worst thing you can do is run in a straight path in an open part of the map. Aiming snipers and even assault rifles are much easier when the person is running at a constant speed in a straight line. You'll be harder to hit if you create some cover and run slightly to the left or right, or just at least variable speed. Okay, timer is up for my rant. Now onto some higher level tips and ideas, and at the end of the video, I'll discuss the best guns and loadouts for beginners to veterans. First up, the 5-second revive. Yes, if you are reviving correctly, you can do it in 5 seconds flat, not however long this guy is taking. Watch and learn. So basically do medium-sized circles at a moderate rate and make sure they are overlapping a bit. Also, consider fake reviving. You can even try this when all your teammates are alive, but fake revives are very uncommon and will fool most players into rushing you, including me. We'll get into stealth later, but create a safe space for you to revive your teammates, preferably near loot. Tell your teammates to quickly climb up anything and fly to you because they will reach you faster. Dead or alive, flying is faster than walking. By the way, the quickest way to get to the ground out of a pod or by running off the edge is by free falling for the longest possible time and then stopping with the height you need to fly to your destination. You can also get out into the action sooner by climbing up the sides of the starting platform and flying off from there. Just don't try to go in between the beams, there's an invisible wall that will slow you down. And if you want to enter your pod faster, there is a way to do this if you're not near those sides. Since the game doesn't lock your physical movement, and I'm not saying that it should, you can walk forward in your room to make your character walk even faster in the game. This guarantees you get your pod, but it can let you steal an enemy pod to slow them down. Also, you should probably exit the pod immediately after pulling the eject cord to spot enemies and your environment as you're falling. Also, this is the minimum arm movement / position required to fly. At this point, it doesn't even look like T-posing. It's like broken T-posing. Upside down W posing? Okay, on to climbing. One of the main features of this game is the climb anywhere freedom allowed by your sticky hands that are better than the amazing Spider-Man. To improve your climbing, you need to understand one skill: the pull and swing. Pull and swing. Basically, you grab and pull yourself up as fast as you can, then release when your hand can't move down anymore, letting yourself swing upwards with your momentum. This is what allows us to climb with one hand at a decent speed. This is very good in combat situations where you may need to fire or even reload as you are climbing up to face the enemy. It's also good in other circumstances when you are trying to move faster, like leaping over an entire van or built wall tile. The best way to two-hand climb is simpler than you think. Just do big swings that give you momentum, no need for short grabs. However, it turns out that two-hand climbing is only slightly faster than one-hand climbing. Okay, now let's talk about the stealth aspect to this game. I'm sure this information will be much more valuable when solos comes to Population 1, but for now it can be useful when you're the last one of your team alive. The goal of sneaking around is letting other teams engage and get distracted. You can actually crouch walk to make quieter steps, and it reduces the size of your body as well. You can hang from a ceiling in a tall building and the enemy will have to look up to see you. Most of the hiding spots are being patched, but you used to be able to hide inside trash cans, dumpsters, and sometimes in walls. You can still hide in places like gaps on the tower and by building a platform in a tree. If you want to hide in plain sight, try standing in the new storm line. You know, that big white line on the ground that shows you where the storm is going? For some reason, the game paints you completely white, maybe because the game has to do it to the environment and by default does it to your character too. Anyways, it will make you harder to see because you will be completely white on completely white ground. Also, try building a box. This can be a good revive station as well, but generally players overlook seemingly abandoned build tiles in the middle of the road. And if you end up getting discovered in boxes, try making multiple boxes that they would have to search through. Also, and I'm not sure if this will work forever, but you can build a box around knocked down enemies or just block off all the doors and windows that were broken in a building, leaving them trapped inside.
It's not quite stealth, but I wanted to mention that you can go out of bounds in the game. I've been able to get through the outer boundaries while in the lobby, and I've also seen other people get underneath the ground with built wall tiles. And if you fall, you end up in hell, which might as well be the inside of the tower because the noises in there are terrifying. Also, this won't age very well if they actually do open up the tower. Let's talk about the controversial and most complained about subject, hitboxes. In this game, from what I've found, the hitboxes include everything but the player's hands. Yes, that means even the constantly moving arms and legs of your opponent do have hitboxes. This helps when you're trying to shoot at a person with a katana shield, for instance. Not related to hitboxes, but if you look closely at the character models, they do have beady little eyeballs underneath all those dark sunglasses. Also, these people have some pretty freaky abilities, like just check this out. Now let's talk about weapons, the main feature of the game. Like, what would it be without them? Something I could have learned to save time and improve my kill count is learning to reload quickly. Honestly, the game makes it so easy for you that you can do it with your eyes shut. For the most part, reloading is the same across every weapon class. The ones that I would recommend practicing the most are the DT11, 357 mag, M60, and the AKM. They all have their strange angles and odd steps that make them unique, but they are some of the best weapons in the game. While practicing, get in the habit of moving both hands to reload. This lets you move your hands the least amount possible to quicken your reloads. Also, it can help you out to slightly overdo some actions of reloading. This can prevent you from going back and having to cock the gun again when you thought you already had cocked it. Speaking of the best weapons in the game, I wanted to mention that it mostly depends on your aiming skill level and if you're comfortable with a sniper. For beginners to VR shooters, I would recommend highly accurate guns like the UMP CX4 and both shotguns. For more advanced players who want more fire rate and can handle less accuracy, use the P90, M60, or AKM. These are the guns that make you ask yourself, how did I die so quickly?
Also, if you still believe that the rarity of the gun influences the damage, you're definitely playing it wrong.
This only occurs with pistols and snipers. Every other weapon receives unique upgrades to magazine capacity, recoil, spread, and more. I will put a chart created and posted to Reddit by MD_reptile that breaks down all the weapon stats and more. I'll post a link in the description as it links to an updating Google Sheets document in the comments of the post. I wanted to point out some things that are confirmed by the list here. All assault rifles are better than SMGs for long range firing because both the range and full damage range are higher. The Sako doesn't care if you're holding it with one or two hands, making it a pretty powerful weapon as shown in this clip by Rubik's. The game was updated after this video came out to include more recoil, but it's mostly to prevent you from reloading and firing it super fast, which isn't really shown in the video. Guns have no drop, and from what we can notice, they all have the same bullet time, the time it takes a bullet to reach its target. Bullet speed. And lastly, picking up rare shotguns will decrease the spread, which can be very important to damage dealt. Seeing this list also points out that most of these weapon stats are similar and they've done a great job at balancing out any OP weapons. For moderately experienced players' loadouts, I would recommend always keeping an automatic weapon in your inventory with plenty of ammo. Snipers are a very good thing to pick up and learn, so start doing that if you haven't already. If I don't have a sniper in my inventory, I'll hold onto a good pistol to open up my opportunity for damage and kills at a longer range. You shouldn't have more than 3 guns in your inventory at a time, and the more the game goes on, the more heals you should be holding because there will be less loot around you. Also, I usually try to adjust my weapon's ranges to the size of the zone. I hardly ever pick up a shotgun for the first 5 minutes of the round or so, and I'll only use a Sako after that point as well.
Now for some other tips, and I know there will be at least one that you've never thought of doing. A quick tip to winning some free games and accessing a community full of VR gamers is to join my Discord server. I do 2 game key giveaways a month as well as make my own games downloadable from the server, so go ahead and check them out in the link down below.
Anyways, something that I never thought of doing was holding down the trigger on the M104 shotgun and letting the rounds shoot rapid fire. This does in fact work. Your recoil becomes pretty terrible, but if you're in a close and heated situation, I guess it doesn't matter. Are you still looting the graveyard and the storm has come? No worries, take your time. Drink 2 or 3 sodas and recover your health just as fast as the storm is taking it. That is, if you can find that many sodas. However, this is only good when the game is starting and heals are plentiful, or if you're being strategic in the end game. When you die, you drop everything: pickups, weapons, backpack, ammo, and build materials. However, when you are revived, you are carrying one knife and enough ammo to reload a weapon once. Holding a knife or katana in your hand, and maybe more melee weapons in future updates, increases your walk speed by 10%. However, deploying the shield on the katana decreases that speed by 10%, and holding the M60 decreases it by 20%. There are, in fact, areas on the map that have increased chances of having a golden weapon. Some of those areas include Pop Chicken, the truck stop, plains, the church and cemetery, and supposedly even the top of the tower. But no one has ever made it to the top of the tower that we know of so far. Seriously though, comment below more places that have golden weapons, and also tell us what is on top of the tower. Building materials are picked up in groups of 6, and each wall you place down costs 1 material for both horizontal and vertical walls. Here's a tip: change your movement settings to head direction instead of hand direction. I know that some people truly prefer hand direction, but I think head direction is better because I move my hands all the time to aim my weapons, heal, or ping enemies. This makes it harder to walk accurately. Honestly, hip tracking would be the win-win solution so that you can look around freely with your head as well as swing your arms around, all while going straight. This next tip involves the 357 revolver's recoil pattern. You can actually shoot it much faster if you know the recoil pattern. Firstly, when you fire the gun, it tilts upward, but when it comes back down, it overcorrects itself and goes down too far. Instead of letting the gun go down too far and overcorrect its recoil, shoot again at the point where it is in its normal position. This can be hard to time, but with practice you can achieve this.
I have a big final tip that will help you in every VR game you play. Imagine never having to play while charging your headset from a wall outlet again. Heck, imagine not having to charge your Quest for 3 days straight. With this episode's sponsor, Rebuff Reality's VR Power, you can. 10,000 milliamps is like having 3 Oculus Quest batteries in one small package. This small device will extend your playtime up to 8 hours and provide something even more important in my opinion: headset balance. If you were like I was, you would get tired of having a Quest in your face for 2 hours because it was weighing down so much. After putting a battery on the strap in the back, it feels like the weight is mostly lifted off. Now I can play for twice as long without feeling that face fatigue. It's more important than getting a better cushion. Just get this battery, you won't regret it. And please use my link in the description for occasional promotionals off of your order, and also it helps me fund my channel so that I can give all this great information to you guys for free. I put a ton of work into these videos, like tons, so if you can like and subscribe, that would really help my chances of other people seeing this video too. Also, if I missed anything and I'm still playing the game wrong myself, go ahead and shout me out in the comments down below. I'll maybe pin your comment. Anyways, with the knowledge that I've passed on to you, you may now go and play it right. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.